first, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I know your time is precious, so really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us to learn a little bit more about how you can save hours using AI and create some standard aligned science lessons very quickly in a click. All right, great. Well, so hey, as we've said, it's nice to meet you. My name is Shauna Carlson. I'm an AI integration specialist, a marketing director at Jove. I have been a pretty early adopter of using AI and prompt engineering. If you're not super familiar with prompt engineering, essentially it's what you're entering into the AI platform to help generate the best output that you're seeking. And I have also been working within the education industry for, gosh, I should update this. I'd say well over 13 years now. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'll let Carrie introduce herself really quick as well.
Yeah, my name is Carrie Richmond. I am a K-12 STEM specialist and an account executive at Jove. I was a high school science teacher in Mercer County Schools, West Virginia, for about 15 years. I was also a West Virginia Board of Education math and science coordinator for about 3 years under a grant position, and education total about 21 years.
Great. Some good experience here. All right. So let's start to get into the meat of it and why you guys are all here today. I really want to go over, what are you going to learn and what are some of your expected outcomes by the end of this session. So our goal by the end of this session for you all is that you'll be able to see how AI can help you build complete lesson plans, not just pieces here and there, like just a slide or a quiz or a worksheet, but you can really build all of that in together in your AI lesson plan within minutes, if not seconds. And we'll also take a look at how you can use these tools responsibly and in alignment with district policies that we'll kind of dive into here a little bit more as well. And most importantly, you will walk away with some free tools that you can start using immediately. So, why does this topic matter? So, what are we seeing right now with AI? I'm sure everybody's hearing a lot of things, and um, sometimes it's hard to decide what it is that we need to follow through with and whatnot. But basically, what we're seeing is that the research out there is showing that educators are spending between 7 to 12 hours a week just planning lessons. And we know that you all have limited prep time and are very busy with growing demands on your day, especially given um, lots of shortages we're seeing in different districts and schools with educators and the whatnot. So, being able to have a tool that can help you save more time is always important and something to look into. But at the same time, you there's more pressure now to align with NGSS, state standards, AP courses, whatever you're teaching, while also being able to support diverse learners. And we're seeing, as I hinted at earlier, that districts are rapidly rolling out new AI use policies, as they should. And as an educator, you need to develop strategies that will fit within those guardrails. And right now, trying to balance all this innovation with the appropriate policy aligned AI use can be a bit daunting unless you've got the right tools in place to help you with that. And also, student engagement, right? Students are expecting more engaging multimedia learning experiences to reflect um, the digital world that they're currently living in. And AI is a really great way to pull all those aspects together quickly and efficiently. So, we're going to dive in next to a poll, keeping you guys on your toes. And our polling question is on average, how many hours a week do you spend creating lesson plans? I think this will be interesting to see how it matches up with some of the research we've done. I would imagine a lot of it as well, Carrie, would depend on how long maybe you've been teaching that subject and grade level. If you're brand new to it, imagine it takes a lot longer than if maybe you've been teaching that same subject and grade for several years.
And a lot of teachers are having to spend a lot of time revamping their lesson plans to accommodate for students' learning.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense for
Mhm.
sure. Oh, Kimberly's just chatted way too many 25 years as a new teacher and I have new curriculum. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and if you get new science curriculum, that's another great point, Melissa.
Right.
Right, yeah. So it looks like the research that we've done is tracking with what you all are telling us, and we're at about 6 to 10 hours a week in creating lesson plans. Okay. All right. So, what is the promise of AI in education, right? Like we've talked about, obviously, this is all about time saving, as the title of our webinar has indicated. But we also want to make sure that you all know and everybody else knows that AI is not here to replace educators and teachers. It's really more of a support system. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll see that as well if you're not already acute to that. Um, it can also help create these complete standard aligned lesson plans, curriculum align, like into your curriculum in minutes to help free up more time for what matters the most, which is being in the classroom and teaching your students. I would also say that each plan, as we've talked about as well, can encompass more supplemental materials. It's really up to you what all you want to include in your lesson plan, but you can build in slides, quizzes, worksheets, exit tickets, even integrated videos to help students grasp complex topics as well. It also allows for easy and fast adjustments to accommodate different learning styles and levels and accessibility needs. And importantly, these AI tools can build in guardrails to ensure that your lessons are equitable and policy compliant. So we have got another poll here. What is your biggest challenge when creating your science lesson plans? Aligning with standards, finding engaging multimedia resources, differentiating for diverse learners, lack of prep time, or adapting to new AI policies. A differentiation. Yeah, that seems about right. I think that would take the longest amount of time for sure. We've got some, looks like close behind is finding engaging multimedia resources and then keeping standards alignment in check. Yeah. All right. I find it interesting actually that we don't have anybody who is concerned about making sure they're adapted to their district AI policies yet. And I don't know. And I think I've got another polling question in here about this possibly later. I can't remember about how much that's affecting you all right now. So maybe it's a good question to drop in the chat too. Is does your district have an AI policy right now, and are you needing to be? Oh, so Tommy says no, not right now. I've been seeing in the news a lot that that's coming about, so I find it interesting. All right, we have another polling question. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. How familiar are you with using AI tools for education? So I always like to get a good baseline on where people are at with this, and it kind of helps Carrie and I know which direction to
Mhm.
take as we continue on with this webinar. I also still like seeing what you've got in the chat here on what's happening with your AI policies. All right, so it looks like most people are at least somewhat familiar and they've tried it a bit. Um, and we've got a few here that have heard and not used and not familiar at all. So I would say, yeah, so this will be, I hope, a great opportunity for you all to learn how you can utilize these tools to save yourself some time. All right. So, talking about these district policies and responsible use of AI, I think it's important to remember, as we talked about before, that AI is a tool. As an educator, you are in control of the quality and accuracy of the lessons that you're producing for your classrooms. Um, and Following district guidelines, if they have them in place, will ensure that you're using it in safe and appropriate ways. And if you don't have district guidelines in place, I would also say that using subject specific AI tools that draw only from pre vetted, credible resources is really key. So typically, those are tools that are embedded within a tool or platform that you're already using, and they're pulling content from that that's been pre vetted. So you're not really having to jump into or toggle between whatever that tool or platform is and another AI platform like a chat GPT, where chat GPT, you still have to vet some of the materials that they're suggesting and resources just to make sure it's from credible sources and has been vetted. If you're using a tool that's embedded within a tool purchased by your district or whatnot, then you know that those are typically pre-vetted. And a lot of times, ChatGPT is being blocked by districts as well. So that's another reason why it's good to have an embedded tool when and if possible. And it also ensures, um, if you're using something that's science specific, that your lessons are going to be aligned with NGSS or your state standards, and or any AP course requirements and standards as well. And responsible use of AI will also ensure that equity can be supported with built in scaffolds like visuals, word banks, or differentiated set of questions, or totally differentiated like lesson. You can create multiple different lessons from one for your different learning styles. And then finally, I would say promoting transparency with students and families is also really key in your responsible use of AI. Students and families should understand how AI supports and does not replace instruction. Okay. So, what are some practical classroom applications for using AI in creating your lesson plans with AI? Well, obviously your daily instruction, right? Which I feel like we've kind of touched on a lot so far. But just saving you those 6 to 10 hours that we just saw in the polls, or more, um, to save that prep time while also being able to stay standard aligned, is key. You can also utilize it with your PLCs, right? You can share these editable lesson plans with your team members and you guys can adapt them together. It's also a great tool for sub coverage. So you can have a complete set of leave behind and ready to use packets if you're going to have a sub one day. And it's also great from a student support standpoint in integrating the multimedia and scaffolds to help reach those different diverse learners as well. And then also, I would say, like for science specific courses, and Carrie, you could probably touch on this a little more since you taught science for so long, but it's really great when you have if you teach courses with labs, because it's a great way to help prepare students prior to the lab to save you time. And give you more lab time. And then also, if a student was absent, to get them caught up. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything onto that as well, but I should have probably added it as a fifth point.
Oh, no, no, you're good. Yeah, it's really helpful when you can depend on something different to come up with ideas that you may not even think of too, as well. So it can give you some insight into different ideas to use for labs as well.
Yeah. Okay, another poll, keeping you guys on your toes here. All right, where would AI generated lesson plans be most helpful in your teaching right now? So it looks like most people are saying in daily instruction or supporting students with diverse needs, which aligns with our earlier poll on how they want to use AI. So yeah, perfect. Yep, daily instruction and supporting students with diverse needs is our top one. So great. All right. So next up, I'm going to hand it over to Carrie, actually, and she's going to take you all through the rest of the presentation. But please feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A and chat, and we'll get to those when we can.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually get into some of the AI tools that we're going to look at today. And for example, let's say that you are a middle school physical science teacher and you need to create a lesson plan around Newton's first law. You want to incorporate those different ways to make the lesson more engaging, of course, for your students and to accommodate those different learning styles, which is what we saw as a need. A video is a great way to do that. And here you're going to watch one on Newton's law of inertia. So we'll watch the video now.
You are on a skateboard. When you push off the ground with your foot, you set the skateboard in motion. Once the skateboard starts rolling, it keeps moving until something causes it to stop. If you want to stop, you might press down on the back of the board, making it scrape against the ground. This scraping generates friction, which slows the skateboard until it eventually stops. Even if you don't try to stop, the skateboard will still stop because of friction between the wheels and the ground. In areas with extremely smooth surfaces, where there is little to no friction, objects keep moving unless an external force stops them. This phenomenon is explained by Newton's first law, also known as the law of inertia. This law says that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion keeps moving unless acted upon by an external force. Inertia is an object's tendency to resist changes in motion, which is why this principle is called the law of inertia.
So we're going to use that video as an example and take a look at how quickly a complete lesson plan can be generated using that video that we just looked at. So you can see that that lesson plan can include objectives, slides, worksheets, quizzes, videos, all of course, which are aligned to your standards. What's powerful is that teachers can then review and adjust before using, ensuring that it's going to fit within your curriculum goals and your district policies. So I am actually going to share a tool. So here you can see within this platform, you've got the AI tools embedded. So here are your teaching tools. You've got an AI lesson planner, an AI worksheet maker, AI slides, quizzes, and playlists. So we're going to click on the lesson planner. And you can see here, you can select your grade on the left, your standard, your subject, your duration, and then topic, video lesson instruction, anything and everything that you want this lesson to include for your students, including differentiation. So you can type that in there. So we're going to generate a lesson plan for middle school. We're going to align it to NGSS. For physical science, we want it to be approximately 50 minutes, and we want it to be on Newton's first law to include example activities and exit tickets. So we're going to click Generate Lesson Plan, and immediately there it is. So you can see that video that we just watched, and this is, of course, a 5E lesson model. You can see that that is going to be your hook. So that video is going to engage your students right away into the lesson. Then you've got a discussion prompt based on the video. You've got a goal here. You've got explore. So they're going to do an inertia demonstration. You've got a rolling ball experiment. You've got a seatbelt safety model. Then comes your part where you explain, and you've got link to data. You've got visual support. Then elaborate with real world applications, a challenge question. Evaluate your exit ticket. Your optional extension is here too. And then, of course, it will give you the materials that you need. So you can see that if you did this on your own, it probably would take you at least 30 minutes to come up with this. And it took it less than 30 seconds to come up, actually less than 10 seconds to come up with it. So it's really helpful in that way. Okay, let me go back to the presentation. All right. And we'll go to the next slide. So what we're going to watch here is two videos. So the first video is going to be on cellular respiration, and the second video will be on chemical equilibrium. They're going to play back to back. So another way that we can use AI and multimedia tools in your teaching is to help break down those complex topics. These are topics that students have difficulty understanding. So here is an example of two challenging concepts, cellular respiration and chemical equilibria. So we're going to use AI and we're going to pull these videos into easy follow lesson plans for your students. So we're going to watch these back to back right now.
Cellular respiration is the process our cells use to turn food into energy. It involves glucose from food and oxygen from the air we breathe. These reactants produce ATP, the cell's energy currency, carbon dioxide, which is exhaled as waste, and water. The process begins with glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Here, glucose is broken down into two smaller molecules called pyruvate. This step doesn't require oxygen and produces a small amount of ATP, the molecule that stores energy for the body. Next, the pyruvate moves into the mitochondria, the cell's powerhouse. Here, pyruvate is further broken down through a series of reactions called the Krebs cycle, releasing carbon dioxide. The energy released during these reactions is transferred to special carrier molecules like NADH and FADH2. In the final step, in the presence of oxygen, these carrier molecules deliver their stored energy to the electron transport chain, producing more ATP molecules. Together, the three steps of cellular respiration can produce 36 to 38 ATP from one molecule of glucose.
With multiple equilibria, the equilibrium calculations use a systematic approach involving a series of steps to make sure there are as many equations as chemical species. Firstly, identify all the chemical reactions in the system. Then, formulate the equilibrium constant expression for each reaction. Next, create mass balance equations that reveal two sources of hydroxide ions. The hydroxide ion concentration from the dissociation of magnesium hydroxide is twice the magnesium ion concentration, and the hydroxide ion concentration from the dissociation of water is equal to the hydronium ion concentration. Then, make an expression for the charge balance of ionic species that follows the principle of electroneutrality, meaning the positive and negative charge concentrations in the solution must be equal. Finally, determine the number of independent equations. If the number is equal to or exceeds the number of chemical species involved, or unknowns, the equations are solvable. Assumptions about the relative concentrations of species are often made to simplify the calculations. The validity of the assumptions must be checked in the final answer.
Okay, so that, of course, is cellular respiration with biology and chemical equilibria with chemistry. So if you are not a high school teacher or a biology or chemistry teacher, you may be looking at that through the eyes of a student and going, huh? That's a lot. That's really a confusing topic to break down. But with those videos, that's one thing that it does, is that it takes something so complex and breaks it down into its simple parts. So AI generated lesson plans will use those videos and again break it even further down to more digestible parts, using visuals, using practice worksheets, using quizzes to check for understanding, using those videos that are going to illustrate that process clearly so that they can make that connection that you've been trying to teach to them for however many weeks, and they see it visually and then they start to get it. So it makes it easier for students of all levels to engage with tough material. So I'm going to pop back in to that lesson planner and show you what it actually looks like for those two lessons as well. So let me share my screen again real quick. So again, here we're starting. Now, these we've already made. So here's the cellular respiration process, high school lesson. So you're going to come in here. You can see the grade level. You can see the topic and the time. And then there again is that video for that hook for your engage. You've got prompt discussion questions that follow the video. You've got explore. So you've got modeling the process, whether it be hands-on or be digital. You've got a mini investigation with heart rate and breathing before and after activity. Your explain part, of course, is for you and student connection. and then elaborate again with real world connections, challenge questions, and extension ideas. And then you've got an exit ticket as well as an optional quiz or assessment and your materials needed. Again, something like this would take you quite some time to come up with on your own, but using the AI and using these prompts and using this generative AI just makes it so much simpler and so much faster for you. Now, with the other lesson with the chemical equilibria, same thing. You're using that video hook in the discussion, the explore, the explain, the elaborate, the evaluate, and the materials needed. Now, is this going to be exactly what you need? Probably not, but it's a starting point. It's a good place for you to get going and to say, okay, well, this is something I can do. This is something I can modify. And you can always go back and modify that prompt. You can always say, well, let's modify this for struggling learners, or let's modify this for advanced learners, or let's add another lab activity in a worksheet. Let's add an extension activity where they have to do some kind of real world application, anything like that. So you can go back in there and you can do that as well. So now let's get over to here. So the road ahead. So we've got all this now. Now, what do we do with it? So looking ahead, you're going to see more LMS integrations, learning management systems, of course, with platforms like Google Classroom and Canvas. It is very much expanding across grade levels and subject areas. You're not just seeing it defined to English or to math or to science anymore. It really is starting to be used, and of course, all through elementary, middle, and high school. Districts are starting to develop those AI literacy goals. You may not have policies yet, but you may have those literacy goals, which is going to prepare both teachers and students to use the tools responsibly. Now, the AI framework actually has what we call the 4 C's, and each C addresses a crucial aspect of AI literacy. The first one is conscientiousness. So understanding AI's capabilities, limitations, and other implications, ethical implications. Collaborative is the next C. Using AI as a learning partner for personalized education. Critical is the next. Analyzing AI output for accuracy and practicing safe interaction. And the final one is creative. Leveraging AI's unique capabilities to create something new. So to say those 4 again: conscientious, collaborative, critical, and creative. So those are your 4 C's. Now, as policies evolve, the AI tools will keep adapting to meet those requirements. So as your districts start to make those policies, the tools that you have acquired, of course, are going to be adaptive to what you need them to be. Okay, so now we're going to talk about key takeaways. So the key takeaways for you today are: first, AI can save you hours, folks, hours and hours and hours, by creating those complete standard aligned lesson plans in minutes for you. They're not just outlines. They're slides, they're quizzes, there's worksheets, there's videos, there's modifications, there's labs, there's extension activities. Pretty much anything you want that lesson to have, you just have to ask for it. And it'll give you something, and then you're like, okay, well, do I want this? And if you do, then go with it. But if you don't want that, then modify your prompt to make it more clear and specific as to what you want. The big thing is that teachers still remain in control. You decide what you want to keep. You don't have to use what it gives you. It's completely up to you. It's just a starting point. So you can keep it whatever you want. You can edit whatever you want. You can adapt it so that everything is going to align for you for your district policies as far as the use of AI. And like we mentioned before, a lot of you probably have used ChatGPT at some point in your life. I know I have. But like Shauna said, ChatGPT is getting blocked in a lot of districts. So you're going to need something that is housed within the platform itself, which is what you'll find with Joe. And finally, the strongest AI tools are subject specific and built on vetted, credible resources. So you can trust that those lessons are going to be accurate and aligned to NGSS, state, and AP standards. You can't always trust that with ChatGPT unless you specifically tell it that. If you specifically tell it that, then it will do its best to align it for you. But if you have something that is housed within the platform, then that's a given that that's going to happen. So as far as AI itself, let's say that you're still a little hesitant, and I get that. A lot of folks are. They're like, "Oh, is it taking over the world?" You hear that a lot. So just remember, it's not just reshaping the workplace. It's not just reshaping education. It's reshaping our daily life. If we want students to be prepared for the future, we need to bring these tools into their learning environment now, today. It's got to happen. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about 4 things. So, first, AI gives us the ability to personalize education in a way we've never had before. Every classroom has students who learn at different speeds and in different ways. With AI, your struggling students can receive extra practice and explanations. Your advanced learners can be challenged to go further without waiting on the whole class to catch up. They can have their own personalized lessons right there at point of use. Second, AI helps teachers focus on what matters most. What matters most is your one on one time with those children. Automating your routine tasks gives you that time. So AI can grade your quizzes, it can grade your tests, it can grade and give you practice questions, it can track your students' progress. You gain back that time where you have one on one instruction, you have mentoring time with your kids. And I call them your kids because they are your kids. And creative learning experiences. So instead of thinking of AI as replacing teachers, it's going to free teachers up to be even more effective at the reason they did it to begin with, to be honest, because it's all about the kids. So third, AI is going to prepare students for the world they're stepping into. They are stepping into a different world than we stepped into. Nearly every industry, medicine, business, engineering, the arts, already uses AI. So by exposing students to those tools now, we are going to ensure that they graduate not only literate in AI, but actually capable of using it and using it responsibly, critically, and ethically. That's huge. And finally, AI makes classrooms more inclusive and accessible. That is one of the things that you mentioned earlier that you need it to do, and it can do that for you. From real-time translation for English learners to text-to-speech for students that have reading challenges, AI is going to break down those barriers so that all of your students can succeed, not just some of them. So now we're going to go into our Q&A section. We're going to check and see if you guys have any questions for us.
Here's one that I'm happy to jump into, Carrie, and you can tag on if you want. It's from Frank. There are many different AI platforms available. Do you have a rating system to assess their feasibility and reliability? That is a great question because there are a lot out there. And we've kind of touched on the fact that having an AI tool that's embedded in a platform you're currently using helps with that reliability standpoint and ensuring you're pulling accurate, well-sourced content into your lesson plans that have been vetted. ChatGPT will definitely, or similar platforms like Magic School Bus, and there's a bunch of other ones out there, will pull in things like that. But sometimes, most of the time, I would highly suggest that you are double checking some of the materials that's being pulled in from there, because it's pulling from the general worldwide web. So sometimes the source might not be as credible as you think it is until you dive in a little deeper versus using a tool that's been embedded. And I don't have a specific a system to assess it other than kind of assessing those things and looking at other things, such as from a feasibility standpoint, I would say how easy is it to integrate into your existing LMS or tools. Is there a major learning curve for your educators and administrators to learn how to use it? Is it cost effective? Can you scale it easily if that's something you need to do within your school or district? Is it meeting your state or NGSS standards? Like I said, a tool like ChatGPT, you can still plug in there, will this align to this specific standard? And it'll pull in as much as it can, but some of the content it's pulling in will need to be vetted by you unless it's already using an embedded tool within a platform that's been pre-vetted and gets through your district's firewall policies as well. I don't know, Carrie, if there's anything else you wanted to add on to that.
No, you're good. No, that's good.
Okay. Um,
So I see the one about the prompt lingo.
yeah.
Is there any prompt lingo that can help cut down on AI hallucinations? So I don't necessarily know if there's lingo, but there's some rules that you can definitely follow as far as whenever you're creating prompts. There's actually 5 things you can do. And if you want to take notes of this or whatever you would like to do. Number 1, be clear and specific. The clearer you are and the more specific you are, the better your response is going to be out of the generative AI, whichever one you may be using. 2, context inclusion. So background information. You need some background there. So that'll help. Formatting, lists, tables, any kind of step-by-step instruction. That will help as well. Constraints and examples. So word limits, any kind of tone requirement, any kind of modification you want it to include for struggling learners or for advanced learners, or any kind of example that you want to throw in there too. And then iteration and refinement. This is probably one of the most important, is for you to experiment with your prompt. The more you change it, the more you go in and you take those examples and you make it say, okay, I want this aligned to this standard. I want it on this topic. I want a lesson outline. I want it to use videos. I want creative activities and lab experiments. I want study guides for different learning levels. So the more specific you are, the better your output is going to be. And again, like I said before, you use what you want, you keep what you want, and you edit it. It's just a starting point. Don't ever take it for granted that it's going to spit out exactly what you want, because it is just not going to do that. It'd be great if it would, but it won't do that. But it will still save you so much time because it will build everything for you. And then instead of creating from scratch, you're just going back through and editing it and making changes.
We've got a couple questions in on the framework that we're referencing, the 4 C's framework for
Oh,
AI.
yeah. Yeah, I can go back through that.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me go back to where I was. Okay. So the 4 C's are conscientious, collaborative, critical, and creative. Conscientious, collaborative, critical, and creative. Those are your 4 C's for the AI framework. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Any others?
Looks like
Let's see.
some of these we've already sort of answered with other questions.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I think where did the AI framework come from?
The actually, I Googled it. I looked it up and I Googled it. I was like, there's got to be some kind of AI framework. And there was. So I just went in and said AI framework for literacy. And it came up with some options for me. And then I saw those 4 C's, and that kind of stood out to me more than anything else. So I wanted to touch base on those instead of actually going into the literacy framework, because it's very involved and it's something that you'll probably want to dive into at your district level when you start building your own policies. But there is an actual AI literacy framework. And there's a wonderful AI teaching guide through ISTE, to the International Society for Technology and Education.
Great.
And then let's see what else we got.
Any other questions?
Let's see. I think we're good.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to get into a little bit about who we are, just for like about 5 to 10 minutes here. So Jove is a company that we both work for, and we really focus on student engagement, increasing that engagement, and improving outcomes. So we create scientifically accurate, engaging videos and resources to simplify STEM education. So why us? We're engaging students, captivating videos, quizzes, and multilingual access, boosting those outcomes, and of course, saving time now with AI. That AI tool is built into our platform where you can automatically generate worksheets, lesson plans, and slides from our videos, all aligned to NGSS, AP, and your state standards. So it's going to make your learning more easy, more impactful, and of course, more accessible. Sorry, my allergies are bothering me, folks. If I sound a little nasally to you, I apologize. So our role in STEM education, providing high quality video resources to support teachers and students. We've got videos that will prepare you for labs, ensuring that they understand the concepts before experiments. So those lab experiment videos are videos of students actually performing the lab, so they can watch it like as a pre-lab before you do the lab in class. So it prepares them, and you don't have to spend so much time in class going over procedures, going over getting materials, what they need and things like that, and what to expect. They already know. Differentiation, so it's going to support those students who need that additional guidance. It's going to show them visually that connection that they need to make to the concept you've been trying to teach them. And then, of course, your lab efficiency. So reducing your setup time while maintaining that engagement is huge as well. All right. So what can we be used for? So Jove can be used for short animated concept videos. Our concept videos are about 1.5 to 2 minutes long. It can simplify the most challenging topic in those 1.5 to 2 minutes. Then you've got lab activities, which have step-by-step guides, demonstrations, and materials lists for you. These are not virtual labs. These are actual hands-on labs that you can perform with your students. Science experiments. These are going to bring real world experiments into the classroom. They focus on the theory, they focus on the method behind the science. The curriculum alignment, short videos mapped to standards and textbooks. So if you decide that you want to purchase us and then you're like, okay, I want these videos aligned to my particular textbook or my particular syllabus, we can do that for you as well. And then our most new is our AI powered prep, wants to instantly differentiate for any level of student support. So currently, what I showed you is where we are going, and we hope to have that ready and up and going by the end of October. So look for that. If you have a trial, or you say that you would like a trial, you can see that being active on our website by the end of the month. Now, what subjects do we cover? Well, we cover pretty much every science: physical science, life science, environmental, earth and space, engineering, geology, biology, astronomy, botany. Pretty much any science you can think of, we've got some videos that will cover it for you. Now, I'm just going to show you really quick what our website looks like, just the homepage. So you can see here, this is, like I said, this is the landing page. You've got your toolbar here over to the left, and you can decide where you want to go from here. So if you have a particular subject, topic, concept, standard, anything here, this is AI assisted as well. So you can ask it a question even, and it will find those videos for you. You can explore by your subject area, whether it be high school or middle school. We do have middle school as well. You can explore by your standard. We do have many, many, many standards alignments. So you can see NGSS here. You can see Florida, Texas, New York, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina. I believe that's Pennsylvania. So we've got a lot of standards alignments done already. But over here on the left, you can see this with the standards alignment. This actually will come in and create a playlist for you. So this is a great place to start if you already have your standard alignment done for your state and you know what standard you want to teach. You can come in here and you can find that list of videos already found for you aligned to that specific standard. We also have a lot of accessibility tools that we like to feature because not a lot of websites have these. So we have accessibility profiles available, content adjustments, color adjustments, and even orientation adjustments for students that need that extra support. That's there for you as well. So that's a little bit about our website. And then, of course, you've just got your most watched videos here. But you can see here you have your high school videos with bio, chem, physics, environmental, and engineering and statistics. And then middle school, of course, is broken down into physical, earth and space, and life. So even if you teach middle school, don't ignore the high school. If you teach high school, don't ignore the middle school because there could still be something there that you could use, especially in middle school. If you're looking for something for your advanced students, check out the high school stuff. If you're in high school and you need something for those students that have 504s or IEPs, check out the middle school stuff. There may be something there for them as well. Okay, so here is a QR code that you can scan to book a 15-minute demo and get that free trial with us so that you can get full access to our video library and the AI tools. All the AI lesson planning tools from today's webinar will be ready and free in the coming weeks. Like I said, should be ready by the end of October. And you can start using classroom ready lessons immediately, lesson plans immediately. So you can scan that. And I think they put that in the chat as well.
Yep, I dropped it in there, Carrie.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. And one more poll. So the last one is, would you like a personalized demo of Jove? If you would let us know that, we can reach out to you and get that scheduled for you. I think we have one more question come in.
Mhm. Oh, on elementary content. Do you wanna handle that?
Yeah. As far as the elementary goes, if you have gifted students, there are some videos that can be used, especially the middle school videos. I actually had a intervention specialist the other day from an elementary school on with me, and she said that the videos would be great for those gifted students and the advanced students, and especially the 5th grade students that are getting ready to transition into middle school science. So it's very helpful for them to bridge that gap. Here's our contact information. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time. We know your time is precious, and we do hope that you found something today that you can use in your classroom, and hopefully we will see some of you again very soon.
Yes, thank you all very much.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day.